The years following the Second World War marked the onrush of third wave of Filipino immigration. We saw the rise of the labor movement in America, and alongside it, the improvement of employment opportunities for the Filipinos.
It was on August 10 that we started the Filipino-American National Historical Society, Oregon chapter. The Oregon chapter is the very first chapter of the national organization. In the collection of photographs, we also have tapes, videotapes, and sound tapes like this. The Filipinos in the area, they were reluctant to show us or talk to us, but once we have explained to them the reason why we wanted to know more about their life, then they would be willing to let us go into the come inside the home and show us all the photographs that they have.
After the third wave, in 1965 and 66, time of President Johnson, there was a law that the Filipinos can come to the U.S. if you have a degree or some occupation that is needed here in the United States. I petitioned myself as an engineer. I'm a civil engineer and sanitary engineer. Those are the time that there were a lot of Filipinos that came over here.
Angie Coyas came to the United States in 1960 under a Fulbright travel and scholarship grant.
I was supposed to go to Yale University, but I found out that most of the teachers that I was looking for had left Yale and had gone to the Midwest. So I followed them to the Midwest, and I ended up in Waco, Texas, at Baylor University, where I met my husband, Bruce. And it was fate, I guess, because we got married, and I went back to teach at the UP, University of the Philippines, and then I came back here, and then we both taught at Baylor University, and then Bruce got relocated to Oregon. So we came to Oregon in 1968, and we've been here since, and I started my community activism, starting with the PTA, with my children, and then after the PTA, then I did something for the city, I did something for the county, and then I ended up doing something for the state. That was when I was in the Commission of Asian Affairs. And from there, then PACO was developed, and from PACO was CFAA. So
I had been practicing as an optometrist in Manila, right in Quiapo district. Then I decided to immigrate. It took me 5 years before I got my interview at the U.S. Embassy.
You know, we all have interesting stories to tell, I'm sure. I, for one, I came to the United States when the Philippines was under martial law. And on my passport, there was a big stamp, no dollars. At the time, of course, it was hard to get out of the country. And at the time also, I was able to get a working visa, and that's how I came to this country. And since there was a huge stamp of no dollars on my passport, I wasn't able to bring money with me. I had only, I probably was the poorest Filipino who came to the United States, $6 in my wallet.
February 28, 1984, leap year noon. Leap year.
Okay.
So, ang mga probinsyano, we migrated here. There was quite a turmoil in the Philippines, but then I still wanted to stay there. But my father was so insistent for us to come over here because of the ominous things that might happen. Because my dad was he was a federal employee at Clark Air Force Base, civilian section. So he was granted a special immigrant visa to come over here.
And when was that?
And that was, they left in 1972. That was before martial law. So that's it. And then that started Ninoy being assassinated, Cory took over. I was talking about I was humbled because probably it's because of the excitement of migrating to America. So I was trying to welcome a new life. And I knew that we will be landing, we will be going to America in the spring. I said, well, this is a new life. I better do something. So I had that moss green three-piece suit with a hat like Al Capone and everything. But then I said, when I came here, when we touched down, boy, my happiness. I touched ground, I almost kissed the ground, except that somebody almost kicked me.
Simeon Mamaril served the longest term as president of the Oregon chapter from 1994 to 2001. Those were the chapter's glory years. The most significant milestone in chapter history was the highly successful handling of the cultural and historical exhibit Filipino Americans, Pioneers to the Present, showcased for 8 months at the Oregon History Center in Portland, from June 1997 through February 1998. In July 1998, the chapter hosted the 7th National Fans Conference, specially significant because it was the centennial celebration of the Philippines. The long history of Filipino immigration was fraught with struggle, discrimination, loss, faith, and hope.
Discrimination.
Discrimination.
He went to a coffee shop. He did not see the sign that says we cater to whites only. So he sat down there for a long time and nobody was serving him. And then they I think he kind of asked people and they pointed at the thing. So he left. I think that was real sad.
There were times early on where I did see that trace of discrimination or racism, as you call them now. I guess on a very personal level, what really helped me when I first came to this country was this experience with the vanilla ice cream. That really stuck in my mind. I realized when I could not communicate, just getting my ice cream there, I said, well, I really have to do something about this. I went into a very serious program of trying to learn this English language. I bought me a tape recorder. During my off hours, I'd go to a corner where I was working, and I would read aloud, I'd tape it, I'd listen to it, I'd make changes, I'd do all these things.
When I was assigned in Oak Harbor the second time, I worked for an officer whose advice is still vivid in my mind until now. He said, just to really succeed and get along here in U.S., you have to continue going to school and try to learn to socialize with the white people.
Being too scared, being too shy. These are things that we are taught in the Philippines, and I think this is our deterrent. This is my first speaking engagement, and it's really hard to do it because I have been bred into being quiet, being in the back seat, and I have had to fight this because, like Jamie said, you have to communicate, okay? And like he said, our accent is deterrent sometimes, and people judge us on this. And like him, I also tried to overcome my accent, and a lot of people don't know that I am Filipina because I don't have an accent on the telephone. So you have to work hard to eliminate or to eradicate or to lessen the amount of the hassle and discrimination by doing your part too, okay?